class. Now, I know this is a little bit later than what I wanted, but Pokemon dropped, and my Pokemon senses tingled. I had to play all day Wednesday, so I'm now recording this on Thursday. But it benefited me waiting in the long run anyway, due to the fact of they released a Levereaux's support card on the Thursday. Which, by the way, if you hadn't guessed by what I just said and by the thumbnail, today's video is going to be looking over Charmout and all the Levereaux's. So we're going to start off with the starter, which is Levereaux's Cockrease. And she's got the simple starter skill of, when the unit is rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. It doesn't change. Never going to change. Let's just move on. It is important that you do run her though, which we'll discuss further down the line. Second one is the Levereaux's Hordia. And she's got two skills. First one being Auto. When this unit is rode upon by a grade 2 with Levereaux's in the card name, you may call this card to Rearguard Circle. If you called a card, soul charge 1 and put this unit into your soul at the end of that turn. And second skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked or boosted. If you have a power 23,000 or greater Vanguard with Levereaux's in its card name, cost 2 grade 2 or less Rearguards with Levereaux's in their different card names into your soul, then draw a card. So this is looking interesting already because it's playing very Pale Moony. So it's calling herself out from soul and then puts herself and something else back in soul with a second skill, or if you don't, then you shoot yourself back in with her first skill. So you're seeing the Pale Moon in our Magia vibes out of it, which is really nice. There is a little bit of, if your Vanguard is X power or greater, so it's got a little bit of Dimension Police burst playstyle into it. So really interesting to see. And 2 Rearguards into your soul, drawing a card, is it technically a neg 1. But when you're calling this out from soul to do that, it's an ±0. But when we get further in the deck, you'll see it actually can become a +1 out of it overall. Let's move on to the grade 2 next. Now the grade 2 is a Levereaux's Calmina. Calmina's got the skill of Continuous Vanguard Circle. If your soul has 2 or more grade 1 or less cards with Levereaux's in their different card names, when you would ride a grade 3 with Levereaux's in its card name from your ride deck, you can ride without discarding a card from your hand. And second skill is Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit is chosen by the ability of your Vanguard with power 23,000 or greater and Levereaux's in its card name, you can counter charge 1 and soul charge 1. So the first part alone prefaces why we need the starter. Because if you've not got the grade 0 and you've not been able to use the grade 1 skill to tuck 2 into soul, you won't have the 2 Levereaux's in your soul to ride up for free. And second skill, again, like the grade 1, does need a 23,000 or greater Vanguard. But this one actually lets us counter charge it on and soul charge on. But it needs to be chosen by the Vanguard. So from what we've seen so far, none of this actually ties into that skill. So we need to move into our final card for the ride line, which is the Big Boss Girl herself in Levereaux's Charmout. So Charmout's got 2 different skills here. First one being Act Vanguard Circle. Once a turn, you can cast Counterblast 1, use up to 2 grade 2 or less cards with a Levereaux's in their card names from your soul, pull them to Rearguard Circle. And this unit gets power plus 5,000 to turn. Then her second skill is Auto Vanguard Circle. When this unit attacks whilst not boosted, choose 3 of your grade 2 or less Rearguards with Levereaux's, their different card names, and until the end of the turn, increase or decrease their power to match the power of this unit. Then, if this unit's power is 33,000 or greater, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can cast Soul Blast 2, and until the end of the turn, Rearguard in the back row center column that is chosen by this ability can attack from the back row and perform drive checks. So this is very, very, very interesting of a card. So we did hint earlier, obviously, with the grade 1 that if you found a way to call more than 1 from Soul, sucking 2 into Soul would then become a +1. This is that example. So you can utilise this to call 2 of the 3 parts of the ride line from your Soul to Rearguard circle. This also stresses that as well, you want the grade 0, because she only powers up level Asurs. And spoiler alert, the only level Asurs we have is the ride line. So you do need that grade 0 starter. Obviously, if you've only got 2 Rearguards with level Asurs, you pick 2. Don't have to specifically have 3 or 0. This is Vanguard, you do as much as you can. But this is really interesting. So you want stuff that stealth bumps her up to hit the 33k if your opponent's already grade 3 to do the passing of the powers. And then they're attacking from the back row. Passing power isn't restricted, which is really nice. But also see now, get to soul charge counter charge off the grade 2 when you select it with Charmout. So really nice combos you got here. I will stress, because I've seen so many people make this mistake, it needs to be 3 different names. You cannot choose 2 grade 2s and a grade 1. You cannot choose 2 grade 1s and a grade 2. It must be a grade 2, a grade 1, and a grade 0. It is not grade 3, it says specifically grade 2 or less. I've seen so many people making mistakes with it. And you do need to not boost. I accidentally mucked up with one of this in my testings and boosted when my opponent was only grade 2 and gave the powers, which is my own mistake. But I should not have done that. But it is a very big stress. You cannot be boosted, and it must be 3 different names that are grade 2 or less. All in all, though, she herself looks at a very interesting of a mechanic. And gaining power. So what else have we got that actually supports this? Well, we've got the first one being her grade 3 support card in the Dream Splurging Ramona. So Ramona's got the skill of Act Rearguard Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with level Asurs in its card name, cost, put this unit and another Rearguard into your soul, draw a card, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets power plus 5,000 till end of turn. So a nice simple 2 into soul, draw a card, plus 5,000. My concern with this is, it is actually a minus 1 for this. And you're putting 2 cards into soul, but unless they're level Asurs, are going to then be stuck in the soul. So, interesting to begin with, but whether it lasts or not is yet to be seen. And we also got another support card for her to help out more with Charmout's costs. And that is Liven Up Light Clotilde. And Clotilde's got the skill of Auto Rearguard Circle. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a Vanguard with level Asurs in its card name, cost, put this unit into your soul and soul charge 2. So that Soul Blast 2 cost we had on Charmout is now non-existent due to this, which is really nice to have. So you Soul Blast 2 out, you're then putting this into Soul with Soul Charging 2, and then you've got the grade 1 on top that says, oh, put this and something else into Soul to then draw a card. Build up a Soul quite nicely. The reason I'm not fond of Clotilde, and that's a personal preference, obviously it's random Soul Charge, whereas obviously utilising the Rideline grade 1, you're actually using what you want in your soul as an actual source to then call back out again and all that other stuff. And you're not randomly soul charging triggers. Plus, we do have another card further down that does make this kind of redundant. But this is more for the budget players, so it's not a bad option to have nonetheless. We'll now move into the double rares. You get double rare support as well. And this is a Magician's Work Colby. So Colby's got the skill of, when this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, if you have a Vanguard with If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard card with Levelers in its card name, you can counterblast 1. Choose one of your Vanguards and it gets 5,000 power till end of turn. Then, if your Vanguard has power 23,000 or greater, you draw a card. So we see again we've got that nice 23,000 benchmark. So now you can pretty much see you don't need to spam getting to 33,000 if you're going first. You'll still be able to get some resources out of it. So nice simple counterblast 1 plus 5k to the Vanguard, draw a card. Really nice to have. It is on place, so obviously after that you'd be wanting to set her off or bounce her back to hand if you do decide to use Eureka in the deck. Personally, I don't think Eureka is going to be needed, but it's an option. But very nice nonetheless. But we then move on to the final support card that we got revealed on the Tuesday stream, and that is the Vivid Night Festival Aurealis. Now, Aurealis has got 2 skills. First one being Auto. When this unit is placed on Rearguard Circle, cost Counterblast 1. Search your deck for up to 1 grade 2 or less card with Levelers in its card name. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. And second skill is Act Rearguard Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Levelers in its card name, cost, rest this unit, choose a card from your drop zone, put it into your soul, then choose one of your Vanguards and it gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. So, really nice card. First one being able to search out for the grade 1 or the grade 2 from the Rideline, because from what my early testing has shown, you want to be maxing out on those. Because you obviously want the 3 rear guards every turn, you're only calling 2 out from your Charmout. So maxing out on the grade 1 and the grade 2 allows you to keep calling the starter in and out of soul every turn by using it as the target for the grade 1 to put 2 into soul to draw. Which then choose whichever one goes alongside it based on what's in your hand. So really nice to be able to search out stuff. And then the second skill is really good as well. The fact of it lets us build up our soldiers by resting her. Yes, it does mean that obviously we've then got a rested unit stuck on the board. But due to the fact of Charmout's 4 setting power, you can have a grade 0 in front of her and she'll still be the 33k, which is really nice to have. Talking of setting power and front row though, one bit I do want to heavily stress is with Persona Ride. If you have any of the Levelers in the front row and you have Persona Rode that turn, Charmout will override that Persona Ride because she physically increases or decreases your power to match her. So ideally, you want the non-Levelers in the front row. So then when you're boosting, they get the Persona Ride power and you've got your 33Ks plus in your back row. So really nice deck. It's a little bit fun to muck around with and looking kind of good, honestly. Just a few small things to improve it, which obviously would have been all we'd have seen until we hit Wednesday's card of the day. And that is pay attention to Truss. Truss has got 2 skills. First one being Auto Rearguard Circle. When your other unit attacks from the center back row, you may return this card to your hand. And second skill, when this is put on the Guardian Circle from your hand, you can Soul Blast 1 and it gains shield plus 10,000 till end of the battle. So we've got more self-board clearance, which is really good for the deck. And then we've got the ability to be a 15k shield just by Soul Blasting 1. So really nice budget card. I haven't tested it yet because obviously this dropped Wednesday morning and obviously then Pokemon happened. But it's definitely something that's on my to-test radar. But she wasn't the only extra card we got. As of this morning, we got Nectar of Nutrition, Cassandra. So Cassandra's got the skill of Auto. When this unit is retired from Rearguard Circle or Guardian Circle, if you have a Vanguard with Levelers in its card name, you may Soul Charge 1. So, we got anti-Gandiva support. But we also got the ability of, if we guard with her, we soul charge one. So, really nice. I don't think she's going to be used because it's a basic soul charge one. But it's still a nice budget card nonetheless for people that are not going to have so much of the higher rarity stuff. They can muck around and test this out. So, all in all, very interesting deck. A lot of new stuff to test out. And I really can't wait to see how it goes. Early testings are showing it's a very combo-based deck. But it does consistently hit the 33k, which is really nice to have. Now, in terms of what you can support her with to obviously hitting the 33k, that's where it does get interesting. So I've seen a few different routes people have been going along with the one I'm actually pushing a bit myself. So the first one that I've seen is a lot of people are actually trying out Reseus. So Reseus is the set 1 grade 1 3k unit that says when placed, give your Vanguard, or give a unit I should say, sorry, plus 10k. You'd give it to the Vanguard, so obviously it jumps you straight up to 23k. Which you can then utilise with the grade 3 support card that we talked about, that tucks herself and another card into Soul. So you're then making really interesting combos. You can pump up the numbers quite big that way. Another way you can go is the way I'm actually going, which is with the Everlasting Sapphire. So again, another set 1 card. There's literally order that says, put this into Soul, choose a unit, give it 5k. So obviously you give the 5k to the Vanguard. But it then opens up the order package, which we can then dive in with the cycle card that we've had revealed a few weeks back, then start deck compressing and actually give some extra draw power to the deck. Because that's the one thing it doesn't actually plus. So having that extra little bit of draw power from the cycle does make it very interesting. And as I was saying earlier, you could go with stuff that's on place, give power, combine it with Eureka. So then Eureka would then Soul Blast 1, because you do generate a nice bit of soul. You then bounce that unit back to your hand, using the grade 1 to self-clear. Gives you only 2 units on board, so you can actually get some nice control out of it. But there's so many different ways to go, because it's so generic outside of having to have the ride line be the ride line. So it's really going to be interesting to see what other people come up with. But that's going to be it for this video. If you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe. It very much does help the channel. There may be a bonus video coming out this weekend, just covering the Lutetia and Michu stuff that's being revealed as on the stream in 1.5 hours as of me recording this. But I will not know for certain yet. There is definitely going to be some point the video I got showing off my Etsy order for the little Leonor stickers. That may have happened before this. I don't know what order, when this one's even coming out yet. So I'll have to wait and see. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye bye.